There are many data engineering projects available on YouTube, but nobody is actually talking about how data engineering projects work in a real life. They don't talk about how real-time data pipelines are built, how we face the problem, or how we face the situations in real project. So this is the exact problem that I am going to solve if you want to become a data engineer in 2025. This is going to be the series of 10 data engineering projects that people have actually worked in their own companies. In this series, we will talk about real-time data pipelines, project architecture, tools and technologies used, source systems, targets, then data details, schema, problem they actually face while working in the project, then all the scenario-based interview questions that may get asked around project. So trust me, each episode is going to be a very high quality discussion of 40 to 50 minutes. So hey everyone, my name is 𝗖𝗺𝗽𝗃𝗃. I am a data engineer and a content creator. I will keep uploading such videos that will help you crack the companies you want. And in return, all I'm asking is to hit the subscribe button. You can also join the community of around 34,000 data engineers on my WhatsApp channel. So without wasting any further time, let's start the interview.
Okay. Hey, hi, Satyam. Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, I am doing great. How are you?
Okay. Good, doing good. Okay, we'll start with an introduction. I'll give a brief introduction from my side. So I have total around 8.5 years of experience. Okay. Currently, I'm into Azure Cloud, and I'm working on one of the migration projects in PySpark. So we are migrating basically SQL Server stored procedures to PySpark code using Databricks. So we are using Azure Cloud there. Okay. Basically SQL Server, we were using Data Factory to schedule, but now we have removed all the dependency and we are scheduling everything on Databricks itself, just to keep only one tool for everything, right? And previously, I have worked on around 3 to 4 projects in data engineering. One of them was on premise, and now I'm into cloud. Okay, basically. Yep. Now we can go ahead. You can go ahead and give your introduction.
Okay, so I have a total 4 years of experience in data engineering field. So I work in a various domains such as retail and healthcare and finance as well. So building end-to-end data engineering pipelines. So my area of expertise include like Azure Data Factory, Databricks, Spark, SQL, Python, and analytics tool as well, like dashboarding, all those things. If I talk about like additionally, like apart from this, I am also the part of the team where we have a major focus area on optimization and performance tunings to build efficient and scalable data pipelines. So, and recently, like I am working on a retail project, so which where we have to build a data pipeline from end to end, from sourcing to the sync and building dashboards, which will help the analytics and ML team to make their process very efficient, and they will get right data in right formats. So yeah, that's the quick brief about myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you explain the project, let's say current project you said it is retail project, right? Can you explain that project in a brief, like what is the business problem you are trying to solve? What is the project actually?
Okay, I'll go with the first problem statement. So we were in the retail side. So what happened, like we have a lots of data generating for the sales side. So I can say the daily sales, the sale on sale orders getting created, product, and all those kind, we have the data. So our the business team need like to perform like to track some metrics such as sales performance, how the monthly sales trend is going on. And then ML team, they need to build some model like sell forecasting, so they can predict the sales as well as product price predictions. And customer sometime customer retentions metrics we have to build, so that will help to retain our customers. If we are losing, so why we are losing those customers, that will like we need for that like a platform where we can get the data in quick manner, and like it should be like not like data is lagging or it is taking time to proceed. So for that we have to build the pipelines. If I talk about the tools and technology here, so I have a one diagram for that. If you are okay, I'll share that
Yeah,
proper arc
please, please,
for you, and it will help.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Just give me a minute, I'll share my screen. I think request I sent, I don't have request to
Yeah. Now you will be able to share.
okay, that's good.
So this diagram you have recreated for yourself, just for explanation purpose in
Yeah.
interviews. Okay. Okay.
Yes, express purpose only I created. Just little bit need to work around the settings. I think some issue with the settings.
So hey guys, before you continue watching the discussion, I will just take one more minute of. As you are watching the video till here, I can understand that you are looking for one good end-to-end data engineering project. So basically, we have started one service few days back, which is one industry level data engineering project. And we have already delivered projects to more than 50 plus people. What we are going to do in this service is that we will connect you directly to someone who has cracked multiple interviews at top companies. And same person will take you through 3 one-to-one session. It will be 1 hour each, where they will try to explain the entire project end to end to you. This will be the same project that they have used to crack their interviews. So here you will get complete project walkthrough, all your doubts will get cleared, real world insights, and most importantly, a project that you can confidently speak about in your interviews. And trust me, having a strong project is one of the most important thing when it comes to cracking a data engineering interview. So if you are looking for a one-to-one session to truly understand a real project, just book a session with me and I will personally call you to get started. I will be attaching the link for this in the description section. So do check out.
Okay. Just a minute. I think now I can share my screen.
No, a little if it's possible.
Sure. I'm just a little bit need to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fine, right? Okay. So what happened, like in this architecture, we have the one source. We have many sources. The data is coming. The CSV file we have that is maintained by our business teams or some ground team as well. So that we are putting somewhere in the clouds, and the JSON file that also we are putting in different source. And we have databases like Oracle, MySQL, those databases. We are storing our data like transaction data as well as some historical data also was there, and the REST API data directly coming through the APIs. So we have the multiple data source. So we want to bring that data to the one place. So that's easy to everyone to pick the data, and they can use further for the transformation purpose. So for the data injection, we use the Azure Data Factory. This will help like to bring the data from multiple sources to the one cloud platform. For the cloud, we use the ADF Gen2. So this process you can see this stage I'm talking about now, and we have a that processing stage one, that data we are processing in Databricks. So we have the different layer here, like we follow generally Medellin architecture for the different purpose. So our ML team and as well as data team can also use the data. So that is the one end solution we have. So we have bronze, silver, and gold layer, and then we have the Power BI. There we are building dashboards. So that's a basic overview. If you have anything that any specific question, I'll cover that area as well.
Yeah. So my question is like, you have multiple data sources, CSV, JSON, and you have a database table also.
Right.
From where you are fetching this? Like for example, CSV, JSON, right? Do
Yeah.
you have it stored somewhere, or your business is putting the file at some location? From where you are fetching this?
That is some data already in the cloud is directly coming. So we are storing somewhere in ADF Gen2 as well, some of the data.
Okay.
Somewhere like AWS cloud, I can say. So from S3 bucket, the data was also there. Third party data we have also.
Yeah, on SQL, I think you directly can connect to Data Factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So now in this entire flow, so here I see a full flow, right? Full architecture, right? From data ingestion till, writing it for reports to Power BI, putting it to some Delta Lakes for some ML operations or something like that. Okay. What was
Right.
your role? What was your role in this project? What you were doing?
Okay, so initial phase, like I work on some injection part, like when we started like this project we built from the starting itself. So initially I work on the majorly like injection side. So we have to bring data from, I was assigned for the MySQL side. So where I have to bring data from MySQL database to the Azure Data Factory. So that's, if we talk about the self-hosted integration runtime, when you have on-prem data and all those things, that is already set up previously, all the set up by the team lead itself. So my role here, like to ingesting data from the database to the bringing to the ADF Gen2. The one that initially phase, I first few weeks I work on those sites. Once I have done those things, so we started to we assign the Jira ticket to work on different metrics sites. So then we have I have to work on several times the transformation side to bringing data to the branch layer. Then we have to clean the data, like removing duplicates and the data that is not in use or like data is not that correct, right? We drop that thing and creating new columns, bringing it to the silver layer, then design fact and dimension tables, and designing final metrics as well on the gold layer, and performing lots of joining. So we'll get data like in a format like so we have one bigger table instead of multiple tables. So we do denormalization also for the table, so that will easy to query to the analytics team. They can directly query, as well as Power BI Power BI, and we also can use in Power BI that directly to build metrics and dashboards.
Okay. And this processing, it was what batch processing you were doing, or it's real time processing? What was the processing?
No, our use only the batch processing, because we have generally process data for monthly or weekly or daily basis. So we don't need to be
Okay.
time metrics.
As per your business requirement.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I think this is good. You can stop sharing. It's okay. Right. Fine. So, okay. Now here you are, working on data engineering project, working on multiple cloud tools. What was your team size? What was your team size, and what were the stakeholders you were dealing with?
Okay, we were 6 member of the teams, and we have the one lead, total the 7. And the stakeholder, we have the multiple stakeholder. We work, we have a sales team on the retail one, so they also the two stakeholder is there, right? In the retail side, we have the one like other project also we handle apart from that inventory management people also we have that they're managing inventory, as well as like we have the CEO and that CEO team, the because we were a startup, so we were directly dealing with the CEOs and founders. So from them also we represent. So yeah, so that's about the team size.
Okay. And um, how you were getting the requirements, right? For example, you said you wanted to do some, let's say, a monthly grouping, right? You wanted to give some insights to business. So who gave you this requirement? How you got those requirements from whom?
Okay, we have initial, let's see, like if I talk about the retail, right? So if there is like a business team is there, right, for the retail, so business stakeholders, so they have the initial conversion. Okay, what we want to track now, like what, let's see, like if I'll take one simple example here, like at the like month of the starting, right? So we have our team has some goal they have to be a setup. Okay, how much sales we have to be have like sales target, they have certain sales target, or what inventory they need. So based on that, they come up with the metrics, and that's all discussion happen in the our meeting itself. First, like we have the business meeting, there we have the discussion happens. All people will be there, stakeholder plus our all the teams, and my team lead also is there. So once the discussion happens, so the project will be divided in the sprint. It will go 3 to 4 sprint, or every sprint is for the 2 weeks, and then like sprint will be divided into different tasks or stories. So we'll get through the Jira stories that particular task. You have to work on this particular area. First, it will go, let's say, like we have bring data to cloud, right? And then you have to do certain tasks. We work through those Jira tickets.
Okay. So for one requirement, you're saying 2 sprints. Each data engineer was taking 2 sprints for one kind of requirement, and that you used to break down into multiple, like you have ingestion part, then you have I would say bronze, silver, and then gold, right? So every time you were taking some, for example, ingestion should have happened completely, right? Full ingestion should have happened, and then you started working on transformation, or how it was?
Yeah, it depend, like we have a multiple projects going simultaneously, right? So because sales data can be used for the different purposes itself, right? So I was working on a part, as I said earlier, like we have the 6 members of the team. So initially, like okay, when we have the data ready for the one project or one requirement, then we can next process we can go for the processing part or transformation part itself.
Okay. And you were in Agile framework totally.
Yeah, we are in agile methodology.
Okay. Fine. Um, okay. So from Agile, so basically, what are Agile ceremonies you are doing? Like what are Scrum ceremonies you are following in your project?
Okay, can you explain a little bit like what
Scrum
does it
ceremonies,
mean?
as in Agile, we have I would say we have planning, sprint planning, right? We have daily Scrum, right? We have I would say sprint review meeting. Okay. I'm not sure if you are part of that meeting or not, because generally it is based on a project. They may take engineers into that ceremonies or not, but you definitely should be part of your daily scrums, right? So
Yes, yes.
these are the ceremonies. So what all ceremonies you were part of?
Okay, so we have a daily stand-up calls as well as like if I talk about the, as I said, like one project will go to 4 to 6 sprint as well, right?
Hmm.
Each sprint, I can say for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks we have. So and we have the daily stand-up call. Apart from that, we have monthly review. Sorry, we have weekly review call as well. There will be a stakeholder, so they will like ask about our
Hmm.
progress, what you have done. If any feedback is there, right? So they will assign to us or any ad hoc requirement. So this will go that way. Like once we have done one part we develop of the project, then
Hmm.
it will go for the feedback. Then again, any improvement. So it will go like that.
Uh, and that weekly meeting, you were doing some a kind of short demo also there, or how it was, the weekly review
Yeah, it
meeting that
was.
you had?
Yeah. Okay, what was your progress and how this thing is going to develop? Not
Uh,
initial weeks, but after like 4 or 5 weeks, it will be there
hmm,
for the
hmm.
demo.
Okay, okay, okay. And based on that, you were taking the feedback, like if that is good to go, or they want to do some updates in that. Okay,
Exactly.
fine. Okay. Let's come to some technical part here. In your project, okay, in all this journey, right from transformations to, you know, till the Power BI reports or Delta Lake tables, right? Fill cleaning and everything, all the three modern architecture layers. Have you faced any sudden spike in the data? Any pipeline that was going for a long time or got failed due to maybe some memory leakage or something? Any issue like that you faced so far?
Yeah, we have a sudden spike in data that happened like in the starting of the month or
Hmm.
like sometime starting of the years because we onboarded many customers.
Hmm.
That time what happened like our size of the data will increase at that time. So initially like when we have something in mind, right? Okay, when we build pipeline, we set up this scalability. Okay, it will go for max 2 to 6 cluster, right? When we was I like if I talk about it in terms of Databricks for the
Hmm.
processing data, thought like okay, this particular configuration is perfect because we are not going above that then.
Hmm.
But it's
Hmm.
happen like sometimes you have a more customers and more data is coming, right? And you're not expected that thing. So initially it's happened that time. Okay, but pipeline got broke because the data was size too high. Then we set up again, like come with a new configuration, or we set up the auto scalability to increase the cluster size, and as well
Hmm.
as sometime now we have set up like auto scalability. So it will based on requirement data, that cluster size will get increased. So we are able to make it
Okay.
things.
So you played on cluster. Have you tried to play with the code, like optimizing the code somehow to reduce the execution time?
Actually, I see like I was not like that much area on that much side on, like I didn't
Hmm.
work too much on that. I can say
Hmm.
changing code, all those things, because even obviously the senior people are there, so they were
Hmm.
taking care of all. But I know that because I'm part of the team, that's pipeline spelling, and that's the reason that's it's getting failed.
Okay. 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 Fine. Um, and I think you said you have CSV, JSON, SQL, right? So you have like what all file formats you have worked on so far?
Okay, we have a Parquet formats and then data lake format in Databricks that we use, as well as CSV JSON. As I said, Parquet also we use much because it's most optimized format, like column based.
Hmm.
When you're fetching data, it's easy to like when you're scanning, right? So it has to scan less data. File size also is the less. And it will scan relevant columns. So Parquet mostly I used Parquet and Delta Lake.
Okay.
Delta for
So now you said Parquet and Delta, right?
yeah.
Uh, but in your current project, what you have used, Delta or Parquet?
Initially, still the data was coming in Delta. This one, sorry, we are converting first like Parquet format, and later on, then it comes out the this thing silver layer and gold layer that we are using the Delta formats.
Okay. So based on your pipeline, right? the pipeline that you were showing, you were ingesting using Azure Data Factory, CSV, JSON, and SQL data and REST API data, right? You have this file format, this data in place. For example, you have CSV, JSON as, so let's JSON as semi-structured, okay? CSV, MySQL, and REST API. That data you were writing to a data lake, right? A raw layer, right?
Uh, Before that, we have we are putting in cloud first in ADF Gen 2 directly. From there, we are bringing.
So in ADLS Gen 2, you are putting in which format?
We're putting in Parquet formats.
Okay. And then any specific reason behind Parquet? Behind using Parquet?
Yeah, we are using Parquet for that. Let's see, ADLS Gen 2 we are putting, right. It's not like okay, we are using right now we have to bring on branch layer, right. We have certain use cases also. We directly sometime on that data in Databricks itself. Right? That time in Parquet format is easy to read. Okay, let's see if you want to perform some data, some transformation, and from the directly you want to read from ADLS Gen 2. Then it's easy if in Parquet format, right. It's more optimized. You don't in all the things. So that's why we're putting in Parquet format.
Yeah, right. Parquet easy to read. Generally, just for your information, means in going in future projects, maybe if that is a requirement, you can implement. Generally, if we have to write, right? If we have generally what happens, we take data from multiple sources and we write it to one location, let's say cloud location, right? We generally write it in row-based file format. So we don't go for CSV, JSON, generally people go for Avro because of its size. Okay. But you have some different requirement. That's why you have chosen Parquet. Generally, if that is not the case, people choose row-based file formats because they're easy to write. Right. Okay. But good. I think you have made, use of that files for further processing also. Okay. Next thing, how have you ever faced any changes in schema, right? For example, you have let's say one of your table has, let's say, some 4 columns, right? 4 columns, let's say a couple of months back, but now you are receiving 4 columns, right? So how you have handled this without breaking your pipeline? How you have handled
Okay.
this throughout your pipeline?
Yeah, that is we have the many use cases in our project for that particular thing that you said, where like sometime happen the schema of the cells table itself is getting changed because we are based on the business requirement, right? We are adding new columns. So that also we need in processing when we are processing data, that time also we need. So that's why we choose the Delta format. So in Delta format, like it's like you can enable the schema changes over there. Schema evaluation, the part is there. So once you enable that thing, right, so it will able to handle like the changing data itself. So that time obviously you are able to deal with whenever the data schema is getting changing.
Any idea how to do that? How
Yeah,
to achieve?
I think schema evaluation is there, right, directly. So you can enable that in that like schema is a true. So then you will able to make it that.
Merge schema you have to do. Merge schema.
Yeah. Yes.
You have to set it as true. Okay. Okay. Fine. How you were I would say, if you had some checks in place to check the data accuracy, how you were checking that your data is accurate or complete or it is consistent? For example, consistent as in you had some 1 lakh record in CSV, right? Have where
Yeah.
you had some checks in place to make sure if your data is consistent and accurate throughout your
Yeah.
pipeline?
Yes, we have. What we do, like we've always built the data with the source data with the I can say uh, source with the sync data wherever it's getting synced. So we can make sure like okay record is whatever the record we have in the source, will get same in the final destination as well. That's the few
Okay.
checks we have. Let's see if we have 1 lakh record, so we have to make sure, okay, when we are not transferring, we are ingesting data, right? So source plus the thing should be the same will come. If is there any missing is there happening, right? So we have to find out the loophole by itself.
Okay. So you were like taking the count of source, count of sync, and then um, you were doing that validation. Okay. Um, Throughout your pipeline, right? You had any testing tool in place, or you were doing it through how you were doing it through PySpark or manual? How you were doing the basically, I would say, unit testing for your project?
Unit testing, what we do, like we always have some initially, like before the unit testing, we do some sample test. Once we have taken some sample data, and when we are developing in the developing phase also, we do some sample testing. Later on, we implement this we use PyTest framework for the unit testing basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Okay, in unit test, I just forget to tell the one more thing. Like in unit tests, like we have certain, like, okay, we check always like sums and number of the records for I can say how much we have in the source side and how much is like after, like finally we need. It should be like final, and some should be the same. So that way also we do usually.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Uh, so throughout this entire pipeline, I think you said you have worked from Data Factory. You worked on Data Factory for some time, and then you moved to Databricks. Where you were Databricks, you were doing coding in what SQL or PySpark, what you were using?
We were using both the combination of PySpark and SQL.
Okay. So while working in production, okay, have you faced any pipeline failure issue, right? Have you ever faced any such issue, and how do you handle that if you have faced? And what were those
Okay.
issues, if you can explain?
Yeah. When it comes out the production side, right? So we got always, like most of the time, that performance issue, sometimes like memory out of the errors. And it's happened generally, like if I talk about this performance issue, right? It's happened like this many cases, like you can consider, right? Sometimes it happen like data skewness, like when your particular key is coming more in comparison to other keys. But that time, like that, you will only face the data skewness issue, where like one particular key will like one particular executable will occupy with lots of data. It will take too much times, like, or it will throw the memory out of there. And another, like when like it comes out the join, right? So when you have you can say, like when you have bigger tables, right? So one small table and one bigger table itself. So that time also, like it's a high chance that if you are not optimizing your join, that time also you will get that particular post task was taking too much time. That 3-4 that we generally, like we do that thing. So what we do now for optimize the pipeline or resolving that issue. So we if I talk about, let's take first the data skewness. So we use adapted query execution for that. So that time, like it will divide the particular key into multiple, I can say, like in multiple keys, or it will automatically adjust. Like now we have this automatic feature like I can say adapted query execution we have. So it automatically handle this. And as well as like changing number of shuffle partition, that also we do. So that will I can say divide data in even, like it will distribute data evenly. And we also oftenly perform like when join, right? So that time, if we have one small table, one bigger table, that time we oftenly choose the broadcast joins. So that all sort of things we have done.
Okay. You just discussed about shuffle partitions, right?
Yeah.
What are default shuffle partitions Spark is creating? Default number of shuffle partitions.
Default number of support. Can you just little give? I just I have
No,
some
you said
confusion here.
like you sometimes like manage shuffle partitions, number of shuffle partitions getting created, right? What is the
Yeah.
default shuffle partition Spark create whenever you have shuffling or whenever you have white transformation?
So default initially it is 200, set of 200. Let's see if you have a more executor you have, right? A more CPU cores you have. So you can change the number of partition based on your requirement. So it will make sure like your data is evenly distributed. So each code taking the enough amount of the data.
Okay. Okay. Now this pipeline, how were you monitoring this pipeline, right? What was you had any monitoring tool in place or any logs, or how you were monitoring the pipeline?
Okay. So like we have I can say if I talk about the logs, right? So we have the custom logs that we are using, and Databricks we have everything, and like mostly we have a Azure monitor tool that also we are using. So Azure like inbuilt if you see log monitor tools is there, so that we use for that. So let's see if pipeline will get fail or any spike is coming, right? Or anything is coming, any failure is happening. So we'll get directly email will trigger. So everything for orchestration purpose we use the Azure Data Factory. From there like we can monitor all those things. But if we talk about the logs, so custom logs we are storing at the cloud itself.
Okay. And um, have you created any pipeline for logs or any delta or anything? Were you storing some logs, like in case there is some failure, right? You wanted to check the
Yeah.
logs. So was there any framework in place to keep the logs?
We have done customized our code, so we are storing I can say on the blob storage directly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
from there directly face the data and we can see, we go directly the particular folder, we can check from there itself. It's more
Okay.
customized format, but more easy
Okay.
to check
Okay.
for that.
Okay. Mm, okay. Now, uh, which versioning tool you have used? Like, for example, you have to deploy the code, right? You have to deploy your development to your main branch. Okay. Um, which deployment process or which tool you have used? What was your deployment process?
Okay, we were using for the version control the Git only. So we have
Mm,
a different branch. I can say dev, test, and then production branch, or
mm,
different environment. We have dev, test, prod. So once we have developed code, so we raise a PR for that. So we will wait for the manager approvals. So once like it's approved, so it will go for the test and production environments. And mainly like we created like we have a main branch we created for the when we are developing, right? So we have a like developer have to create a feature branch. That's the process that we follow for that.
mm, 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 mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and did your manager was reviewing your code?
Yeah,
Okay.
or senior
And
person, okay, were
okay.
reviewing the.
And if you get any comment, you will just update the code, retest, and just push it again.
Yeah, it will same
Okay.
cycle. It will.
Okay. Okay. Mm, okay. What was the frequency of your pipeline run? How frequently your pipeline were running?
Okay, we have a few pipeline like that will go for daily, like twice a daily, like a morning time and then evening time. Another
Hmm.
pipeline we have a weekly pipeline, and some pipeline that we have monthly, and as well as like quarterly pipeline also we have that one. Once we have to be run in quarter.
Depend on business, the
Yeah.
request from business or the requirement. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, throughout this throughout this full architecture, right? Have you worked on any optimization you have done? Have you done any optimization that may be on data factory side or Databricks side, right? Any optimization you have worked on?
Here, I work on Databricks science. Like when it comes out the transformation, so there we do like lots of performance tunings. So the few pipelines, what happen like in starting when it will run, right? It will take hardly 1 hour. But when like after 3 months or like down the line 6 months, the data is getting increased, right? Or due to some other things, we don't know. Like once we check, then only we'll get to know. Okay, the pipeline started to running slow, or it will take the pipeline initially taking 1 hour, now it's taking 2 to 3 hours, or sometimes it will running 6 to 8 hours. So how
Mm-hmm.
we do that, like, if I talk about now, I'm moving further for the how we are optimize the pipeline. So we check,
Yeah.
we thoroughly analyze our Spark UIs or story servers for the checking our task stages and task. And sometimes, like I was talking about the one use case here. So the one task was too much time, right? And like few tasks that we have that was taking too much time. So we we have some assumption for that, like okay, what might be going too wrong for that. Either like maybe data skewness that I said, the data skewness cases, or we don't have the we are not following the proper join things, or we are
Mhm.
not using all those things. We analyze those things. So once like we got to know, okay, maybe this particular stages or particular task is taking time, so we'll come out to the reviewing our code. So we'll go through the review our code. Sometime happen like your particular computation you're performing again and again, particular operation. So that time we try to perform the cache or persist that we try to store the intermediate results. So later on we can use, so we don't have to perform recomputations. And also we got to know, okay, the join we are performing, right? That's not the optimized joins. So we have one table that is taking size less than 10 KB or 10 MB. So, and you have one bigger table. So, but still you are following the normal join technique like shuffle join or shuffle sort merge join. That will take too much time. If you instead of that, we move towards this thing broadcast join, and changing the number of shuffle partition also that play a crucial role. When it's like we know that we have the enough resources, right? But the data is not evenly distributed. So that time we change the number of shuffle partition, so everything will go in the parallel. And as well as filtering data as early as possible, changing the right file formats, and using hash aggregate instead of the sort aggregate, and doing partitioning in bucket. That's play major role. So when it comes about to the gold layer, when some other team was scanning data, same data again and again, right? So if you know that, like let's say like we have the city-wide data also. So we have the all over India, we have the business. So when you have to be want to analyze the business of the when you want to analyze the data of the Bangalore only. So if you do the partitioning, right? So based on the city columns, right? So that time it's you have to you can scan you can skip the lots of data. So that's how we will go for the optimization side.
Okay. And have you said bucketing also, right? Have you used bucketing somewhere?
Yeah, bucketing also we use bucketing like when you have lots of distinct keys, and you know that, let's see if I talk about customer
Yes, I think if you were explaining about bucketing.
okay. So in bucketing, like we perform when we have too many distinct keys. So we use bucketing for our optimize the joins. So we have one seller order table and we have the customer table as well. Like both weren't big in the size. Or sometimes we are joining seller order table and seller order ID table as well, seller order item table as well. They both are coming with a like in GVs that, but both files. That time based on the common column, we divide in the fixed number of the buckets. So when you perform joins, right? So in both lab both table have the same number of bucketing. So optimizing your join, optimize the join. Or else, like let's see if you are uh, or you are searching particular customer, okay, or particular order, right? That time it will go through the only particular bucket because it's stored it data there, right, in metadata. So that's about the bucketing.
Okay. Okay. And this you're using to optimize the joins for two big tables. If you have two big table in place. Okay.
Right.
Only one point I think you said the broadcast join, right? This is by default currently in Databricks. I think previously, if you had worked on some on-premise project, right, that you had to like put that config, some I think broadcast threshold config. It was 10 MB, right? But now in Databricks, it is by default. It means in latest versions. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm good with all the questions. Only one thing I wanted to understand. Um, let's say this entire project, okay, design. I'm coming to you, right? I'm showing you the design, right? And you have to, you're seeing the design, right? Is there anything in this whole design that you wish to change, right? Or you would have changed if you had that opportunity. For example, you are some architect or senior data engineer, right? Now I understand you are a data engineer, right? Whatever they have given, you have done, you have optimized as per your understanding. But if you were some senior, right, and you are getting opportunity to let's say work on the design, right? Is there anything that you would have changed from this project or optimized or anything? What changes you would have done if you had that authority?
Okay, so here I will consider two things. The first thing is that like, okay, whatever like initial location, like I'm writing in the data, like so the format, like right now we're writing in the Parquet format, right? So that's okay. Uh, when you're writing, right? So it's okay. If you write some in more like in less size format, right? I can say like you can consider this thing, Avro, right? Avro, like if you consider the one CSV and one that Avro, right? So it is Avro like have the binary formats, right? So it will store data in binary format. So it's a less size. Second thing is that like right now we're writing code in the Spark SQL and PySpark both, right? In Spark SQL, what happened like it will take one extra stage to convert Spark SQL code to like in object columns. So that two thing would like to change. So instead of the Spark SQL, we used to write the entire pipeline, the PySpark, and instead of using the other format, right, we consider the Avro formats.
Spark SQL, exactly. Like if you have PySpark available, right, you can directly write PySpark and avoid the extra step Spark SQL is taking. And definitely Avro for, uh, you know, um, I would say for just dumping the data, row-based file format. Okay. I think that's pretty much from my side. Everything from my side. I wanted to understand about your project, right? If you have understanding um, around your project, I would say, or you're only looking at what you have assigned, okay? But I think you have got good understanding on end-to-end flow, okay? Also, like you said, there are two things that you would have changed. So you have, I think, got good understanding on the file formats also, right? Not sure why this they have chosen Parquet file format, but it's okay. Might be because something they have thought, but the optimized way would be Avro, okay? And of course, Spark SQL thing. You don't have to go with Spark SQL because almost everything we can do in PySpark and avoid that extra parsing step. It is kind of invisible optimization we are doing, right? We are not writing. We're writing the same code. My code is giving my same output, but I'm removing the one extra stage it is taking, right? So that was these two answers. I think were nice. And the first most important thing, I think you have your data pipeline you have already created, right? So that has created, I think, a different impression because generally what happens, students explain like they just talk, right? I have data factory, I have multiple sources, then I'm putting to data factory, then taking to Databricks and creating delta tables. But you have that architecture in place, right? You have created it for yourself. So through that, I think I got many questions through that. That's why I asked, right? What sources you had? Basically, you have CSV JSON in your project, right? What sources um, you had there, right? That's how generally questions are getting created in the interview, right? You say something, for example, um, you said like you have some experience on partitioning. So interviewer will go and ask, what is partitioning? What is bucketing, right? It is like you driving your interview. Okay. Uh, but overall, I feel it was good, right? There was clear explanation for each question that was asked, right? Um, but anything from your side?
I just want to know, let's see, like, just one question in my mind. So let's see, like, we are using different tools nowadays. Let's see, ADF we are using, right? So now the way like Databricks is like the new changes and discoveries happening right around that. So how efficient, like if we do everything in Databricks end to end?
See, that is depending on your use case, what use case you are handling. Okay. For example, you have a very simple use case. Let's say some organization is giving you a data. Uber, for example, giving you a data. Ola, Uber giving you some data, right? They're asking you to process, do some little short transformations, like you have to just filter out null records, right? You have to do simple aggregations, okay? And you have to run it, let's say, once a month or once in a quarter or a year, right? um, and you have not much data in place also. Such use cases you can go for data factory, where you don't have much, uh, compute intensive transformations in place, okay? Or you have not that complex things in place. For example, here you have to you just have to filter nulls, okay? You have to work on data types, which you can work in data factory also, right? And you have to schedule pipelines some monthly or once in a year, right? These cases, simple cases, we can cover using data factory. Okay. uh, Databricks, we go for Databricks when you have a complex logic in place, you have huge amount of data, right? And you have to tweak your codes for some optimizations. For example, in Databricks, we have delta cachings in place, right? We have liquid clustering in place, and different properties of delta tables that we can leverage to obtain the optimizations. Okay, that is required when you have frequently running pipelines. You have something daily, you have huge amount of data, right? So that way we can, in such cases, in such scenarios, we can go for Databricks. Okay. And as you said, yes, Databricks itself is capable to perform end-to-end things. I think for few ingestions, we will have to use Data Factory. Okay. But for, you said you have SQL table, we can directly connect to SQL table using Databricks using JDBC drivers, right? And I can bring your SQL table data to my raw layer directly. Okay. And we have workflows now, workflows in place, right? Where I can schedule all my pipelines. So this way, generally, we differentiate between Data Factory and Databricks. But considering the current scenarios, I think we slowly have started getting the complex use cases, right? Where business is looking for some business. Nowadays, people have started automating business use cases also. Okay, so it's not only that the like what we think as part of data engineering is we will get some data, we will filter that data, then we will do some aggregation, and then we will do some dashboard, right? People's currently industry is having few business I would say processes also that teams are automating using Databricks and PySpark. One of the use case I am currently working on and I have worked in for last around a year, right? These cases also are coming in. For such cases, we go ahead and we use Databricks, right? So again, based on the demand, based on the requirement you have in place, okay. But again, less complex transformations, go for Data Factory. If you have complex transformations, you want to leverage delta tables, you want to leverage, I would say different properties of delta tables. Like we have liquid clustering in place, we have deletion vectors, we have many concurrent append. Okay, all these things we have in place. If you want to leverage that for your complex transformations, okay, go ahead for Databricks.
Sure, I think it's helpful. That's all from my side.
Right. Okay. Fine. It was good talking to you, Satyam. I think. Thank you so much. We talked for around 40-50 minutes on your project, and it looks like you have good idea on your project, what you have worked on, you're confident on. And the most important thing I wanted to tell you, like if there is some confusion, like for example, if I used any um some terminology I'm using. For example, I use the terminology Scrum ceremonies, right? If you're not
Yeah.
understanding, you came back and asked what you want to say, right? You directly never went ahead and just answered something. So that is something which plays a crucial role, okay? Because as a data engineer, definitely, if you don't understand something, you should not assume. one assumption can destroy your entire pipeline, right? So you came back, you asked me, you are not aware of, it's okay, you are not aware of Scrum ceremonies word, but you are aware, you are doing demo, you are doing retro, you are doing planning, you are doing daily Scrums, right? So that's very important. If you're not clear, come back and understand what you are trying to say, right? And whatever, if you are not aware something, you are clearly saying, I have not worked on, right? Instead of giving some vague answer. So that is something which is very important. I found uh, these things, I think couple of 4 or 5 points which I mentioned very important. So I enjoyed talking to you, Satyam.
So for me as well, man. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you so much. Good day.